Good morning, traders and investors around the world, and welcome to Monday's edition of PreMarketInfo.com, where we prepare you for the most important hour of the day. The first hour, folks, we're going to combine our shows today and get all the information to you in one show. S&P is currently trading at 1261. Our upside target would be 1276.50. Let's keep an eye on 1262.75, Dennis. That was the Friday and weekly high.
Yeah, we'll have to, it's been this follow-through rally here, Joel. 17 points, we're up again. So it seems like, we rally, we have a little, where we settle and take a breather, rally, settle, take a little breather Friday, and then we rally again. So the trend still is up.
Okay, moving on to the Big Ten, Apple Computer. Let's keep an eye on 393.53, the Friday and weekly high, as good resistance and support at the close at 389.70.
Yeah, and this Apple, Joel, I think you're still going to see this 400 eventually come into play possibly here. We've rallied up from 363 a week ago. 400 was the number we talked about forever. We're only 8 points away from there. So wouldn't be surprised if that eventually does grab hold of it and the stock starts to drift up to retest that 400 area at least once.
Okay, ExxonMobil, getting a good play off the Friday and weekly high at 80.74, Dennis, coming right into that number. It looks like we're going to open right in there, see if we get a breakout to the 82 level, or if I go back down and test settlement at 79.79.
Yeah, and interesting enough, the pre-market, that's really saying it's been trading there all morning, trading right around this 80.76 area. So that seems to be putting a lid on. There seems to be some seller. I'm noticing that in a few stocks here this morning. There seems to be, the last couple of days, some sellers stepping in at some weird prices, but this 80.70 area is definitely your first resistance on ExxonMobil.
Okay, looks like IBM is going to be opening into a new all-time high here. The current high, 191.33. So you're using that as a swing number. If you're playing it long off the open, look out below there. Really no support until the close at 189.66. Where we stop on the upside, I guess you use the whole number theory on that.
Yeah, possibly not. Well, 191.33 probably is going to be around your first stopping point right there, 191.40 in the pre-market. So it's going to try to open up at a new all-time high. We'll have to see if that old high from Friday can put a lid on it here, but it starts to open up. So, kind of scary to short stocks when they're making new all-time high.
Okay, Microsoft. Got a good formation there, Dennis, opening up to a triple top here, 25.58 to 63. Just hovering above that level. Above that, we're looking for the 26. You also got a triple bottom down at the downside from 25.14 to 20. So real defined range into Microsoft.
Yeah, and that range could hold again today because the upper end of that range is right around fair value. So we're trading right there at 25.64. Interesting, you had those sellers last week there seem to be stepping into this area. So for some reason, somebody seems to be dumping it here. And until obviously it takes that area out, it still remains pretty good resistance, Joel.
Chevron Corporation opening up into resistance as well. Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays highs, the 102.80 up to the 103.19 level. Looking poised to test that early in the session. Above that, you do see a high 103.42, but it really opens up on the upside after that. And looking for support at the close at 101.69.
Yeah, same thing, interesting enough, same thing type of deal as at Microsoft. We're opening right into those highs there from Friday. So, that's getting a pretty good, you like those opens when it's opening up into a number like that. So, 103.15 is putting a cap on it. Seems to be in the pre-market too. Obviously, we're still 45 minutes away from the open here. So it would depend, on where the market's trading at that time. But if it was to open here, it would open right into resistance again, which isn't a bad setup.
Okay, J&J topped out in the high 64s Thursday and Friday, 64.89.95, ahead of that seller at 65. So great resistance there. Coming back on the downside. We're trading up here above the close and the low, so look to find some temporary support at 63.80, which was Thursday's low. Better support at Friday's low at 63.30.
Yeah, we talked about this seller the last few days at 65. That 495 the high Thursday, 64.89 the high Friday. So for whatever reason, if it gets up into those high 64s again, you are going to see some high-frequency sellers selling in front of that size. They like to lean on that size. So I would expect resistance starting probably around 64.80 all the way up to 65. Goes through 65, then all bets are off. But at the same time, I think, 64.04, we're a ways away from there. But if the rally continued in this stock, that's where you're going to see some major resistance.
Okay, talk about a stock opening up into resistance. Procter & Gamble, Thursdays and Fridays high at 64.79 and 86, just treading above that level now. So let's call that good resistance up there, all the way up to that seller at 65. Coming back on the downside, 64.66, the close, minor support.
What a seller here, Joe, though, at 65. 500,000 shares. It's absolutely enormous for the stock. It's actually capping the pre-market action here as well. Something to keep in mind, the stock is possibly going to open below fair value because of that seller. If the seller gets taken out, then, it could actually start to rally because it is below fair value. But, then you got to watch out for these breakout, fake outs type of deal that we were talking about. If you were in Vegas on the weekend, I was talking about when the breakout becomes a fake out. This is one of those situations where it could possibly happen. But definitely going to keep a lid on it probably at the 9:30 open. I'd be shocked if it could open over that 65. So obviously you're going to get the high frequency guys that are probably selling in the 64.90s.
Okay, AT&T, kind of quiet, trading above the Friday and weekly high, so that will serve as support. Minor resistance at the 29.35 level, but couple highs going above the AT&T, just trudging its way towards 30. Coming back on the downside, you find good support at the close.
I like this 29.5 number here too, Joel. I think that's going to provide some pretty decent resistance. Earlier this month, it topped out there 3-4 times. We're, 25, 30 cents away from there yet. But if the rally is to continue in AT&T, you're going to see good resistance probably starting in the 29.40s.
Okay, GE, currently trading right at the weekly high, opening up into resistance here at 16.30.31. Above that, a couple highs at 16.47 and 16.69. But just the momentum of GE looks like we're heading towards that $17 level. You find good support at the close at 16.09.
Yeah, we bounced off that 15 area there a few days ago. Haven't looked back here. Obviously, with the rally last week, nothing's really looked back. But 16.29 trading right now. If the stocks pull back, the low was 16.04 on Friday. I'd expect to find some support there again. We always say resistance can become support. In this case, I think it did on Friday. It may again today because we were talking about that 16 being resistance earlier this month. So your first level support above 16.30, you're right, Joel, does open up.
Okay, and Coca-Cola ran into some problems in the mid to high 67s yesterday, and at the end of the week, 67, 55, and 58, the double top from Thursday and Friday, and the weekly high 67.96. Look poised to test that now. Coming back on the downside, you had some old lows in that 66.70 area, so I'm looking for that to be minor support.
Yeah, and you're right on with the 68 number. If we get up to this, Joel, man, there's huge resistance up there, big size up there as well. We're a buck away from there. I don't expect that to come into play today, but there is some size at 67.5 too. 67.55 was the close on Friday. The open was 67.46. So all around that 67.5 number, I think you're going to see resistance up there too, Joel.
Okay, now Dennis, let's get to our market movers.
Yeah, we're going to do the market movers here with this show. We had a little bit of technical difficulties on our trying to do our last show. Uber's let us down a lot of times. Obviously, we're still in beta testing mode here, so eventually we're actually talking about getting you guys a visual component here eventually as well, too. So that'll be something nice for you. But we do have a few market movers here, Joel. Obviously, starting with Dollar General was one that actually had earnings. Stock was trading up pretty significantly. It's pulling back now. It's only trading 40.45, so actually it's trading a little bit, it would be below fair value, so maybe they're not loving the earnings as much as they were earlier on. Closed at 39.94. What do you think about DG, Joel?
Run into some problems here at the $41 level. That was a high from a couple days ago, 41.05. Hit just above that in the pre-market, 41.29. So DG running the problems here at the 41 level. Coming back on the downside, you had your close at 39.94. I'd look to be supporting that stock right around the $40. So let's call it 40 to 41 in DG today.
Merger Monday. Remember the Merger Mondays? Well, anyways, we have one merger here for you this morning. SFSF, which is Success Factors, is being bought by SAP. $40 a share. That's obviously going to be your price on SFSF. But SAP, we can do you a technical on that one because it is the acquirer, and it is actually trading down. So 58.59 acquirer is trading down about $1 right now. This is obviously an ADR, so sometimes those are more tricky to trade as the prices just follow whatever it's doing over in Europe, so we kind of lag. So I'm never one to trade many ADRs just because I don't feel like I have the informational edge over here. But what do you think on it?
It's trading, just consolidating around 58.50 in the pre-market. Did have some support at the $59 level. We broke through that. So I'd use the 58.5 as support, and then that 59 as resistance.
AFFY, which is, what is it? Affimax. Anyways, it's a pharmaceutical company. They had a drug here that's just getting some good write-up from the FDA. So one of their drugs is looking like it might possibly get through, which is why the stock's popping 24% today. So AFFY up $1.26, trading $6.51 after closing at $5.25. That's a huge move for this stock. We haven't really seen this levels here since going back to August. What do you see on that one, Joel?
I'd keep an eye on the $7 level. It seems to be really popping out at the pre-market. The stock is just trying to recover from a disastrous month it had back in 2010. It's probably when this drug wasn't working or they didn't have anything in the pipeline. So it's just struggling to get back above this $7 level. Above 7, things start to open up, but I'd have to see what happens at $7.
Research in motion. It's down again, Joel. I don't even know what the hell to say about this. We're up 17 points. Stock obviously lowering guidance on Friday. Obviously, there's still follow-through move here today. There was a few articles over the weekend. Nobody's giving RIM any love at all. It's trading $16.39 right now after closing at $16.77. This stock just cannot get a breather at all. I don't know if we're on the road to zero with this thing or what's going on, but I don't think you can be a buyer of this stock. It just continues to disappoint. It continues to make new lows. I think we should close with this one. What do you think about RIM, though, Joel?
I think just keep an eye on 1598. That was the low of the recent move, so keep an eye on that as support. If it breaks down there, your guess is as good as mine. Well, folks, that's our combined show for today. I hope we've given you some good trading information, and we'll be back with you tomorrow.